Welcome back to 5-Minute Bible Study. I was just going over my notes and I hope you get encouraged by this because I actually found this one very helpful. And just so you know, I have been writing my own list as I've noticed things about God. So I will share that with you sometime. I'll probably post it on Instagram or something. Okay, so Matthew 4:23-25. Jesus went through Galilee, teaching in their synagogues, proclaiming the good news of the kingdom and healing every disease and sickness among the people. News about him spread all over Syria, and people brought to him all who were ill with various diseases, those suffering severe pain, the demon-possessed, those having seizures, and the paralyzed, and he healed them. Large crowds from Galilee, the Decapolis, Jerusalem, Judea, and the region across the Jordan followed him. So first, what I noticed was he stayed in Galilee. So what happened was he found out that John was in jail, so he went to Galilee to start preaching. While he was there, he picked out his disciples. And I noticed here that he stayed here. He had his team, he was all in order, but he wasn't rushing on to a bigger mission. In fact, when you read this, he didn't even need to go to a bigger mission because people were coming to him. And it says that he taught and telling people all the good things about God. And it says that he healed every, quote, disease and sickness among the people. He didn't pick and choose. Some weren't too much, too gross. There was no discrimination between the diseases. He just simply healed everyone. And yes, I have the question, why not today? I don't know. I have a friend fighting very serious cancer. I can give you so many examples right now, and I don't know why, but here I notice he healed everybody. And I wrote down here that because he taught and he healed, word got around. Because you taught and healed, because you spoke and acted, speaking of Jesus, word got around. He backed up his message and he gave it legs. He stayed local, but the news, the gospel, went national. He worked and loved locally, and it spread like wildfire. He didn't need to go all over the place or somewhere else for God to use him. God used him from exactly where he was, in Galilee. And people came to him and they felt drawn to him, not intimidated or unwelcomed. And sadly, I think today, when people hear Christian or church or Jesus, maybe God, they think unwelcome. Sadly. But they didn't feel that about Jesus. And even the Pharisees back there, they chose who could come to their table. Not everybody was welcome. You had to be good enough, high enough, important enough, spiritual enough. But that's not the way Jesus was. Every disease and illness. And even the word that he used here was various. Various. Jesus could handle various. He didn't need to pick and choose who was going to come to his table because various wasn't too much for him. Those in agony, those living out of their own control, having panics, anxiety attacks, those numb, not being able to feel their whole selves, all these situations, he healed them. He healed the agony. He dealt with each one. There was nothing that was too much again. Various was just fine. And then it talks about how all these crowds came from Galilee and Decapolis and Jerusalem, Judea, blah, 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 blah. And what I noticed there, it was from any place. There was no discrimination on your walk of life or where you came from, what road you had to travel to get to him, what category of various you fit into. None of that mattered. Whatever your illness, wherever you've been, as long as you come to Jesus, you got healed that day. And then they followed him. He welcomed them. They were accepted and they were healed no matter their illness or their beginnings or their origins or where they're coming from. There were no conditions that day. There is nothing in these 3 verses about the conditions God had in place in order for people to come to him and ask for healing and a new beginning. That is our God. So if the church makes us feel intimidated or unwelcome, there's something wrong with the church. There's not something wrong with God. And that's okay. The church is human, whatever. It's going to be messed up forever. But that is not God. God is welcomed of everything and various things wherever you're from. Write it down.